Hi, I'm Leah Curtis. I'm the Director of Legal Education at the Ohio Farm Bureau. I'm here today with Larry Gearhardt, the former Director of Local Affairs with the Ohio Farm Bureau, and now a contractor that helps us with CAUV meetings and issues.
We'd like to take the opportunity to go into more detail on the CAUV program and explain why the values have increased so radically over the last several years. In 2005, CAUV was at an all-time historic low with an average CAUV value in the state of Ohio of $123 per acre. Beginning in 2006, we have seen CAUV values increasing at the rate of 100, 200, maybe 300% per year to the point where we're now at historical highs. The main question people have is, how can our CAUV values increase so radically in one taxing cycle? Now, the law requires the county auditor to either reappraise or update the values of your real property for tax purposes once every 3 years. And the law requires the auditor to establish a fair market value of that property. Leah, can you tell them what the value or a fair market value is?
Sure. A fair market value is the price at which the land would transfer between a willing seller and a willing buyer. So one thing to remember with fair market value is it doesn't include auctions, it doesn't include foreclosures. It's only going to be those willing sellers and buyers that have the time and the knowledge to analyze the sale before they go through with it.
Now, the CAUV program was adopted back in the 70s as a result of a constitutional amendment, and that amendment said if you devote your land to commercial agricultural production, you can value the land by an income appraisal rather than a fair market value appraisal. Now, an income appraisal of real property depends upon its income producing potential, which depends upon the productivity of the soil, which in essence depends upon the soil type on that property. And once the soil type is determined, then there's a formula that is calculated by the Ohio Department of Taxation that determines the value of that soil type. Do you happen to have the factors that go into that formula?
There are 5 factors that go into the CAUV calculation. The first one is the cropping pattern, the number of acres that crop is planted. Number 2 would be the yield information. Number 3 would be crop prices from a survey of Ohio elevators. 4 would be non-land production costs, or the cost of producing an acre of that crop. And then the last factor is the capitalization rate.
Exactly right, Leah. And what we have seen since 2006 is that crop prices have increased drastically, while interest rates, which is the basis of capitalization rates, has actually decreased. And the way the formula works is we take the first 4 factors and add and subtract and multiply to come up with a net return per acre of that soil type, and then we divide that net return by the capitalization rate. With higher crop prices, the net revenue has gone up, and then it's divided by a smaller number because of the low interest rates. Do you happen to have some of those crop prices that we've seen in the last several years and what's happened to them?
A few of the crop prices that have come into the formula in the last couple of years are $3.95 for corn in 2007, $3.95 for corn in 2008, and $3.70 in 2009. In contrast, some of the prices that went out of the formula for corn recently are $2 in 2000, $2 in 2001, and $2.50 in 2002.
So as Leah illustrates here, the crop prices have virtually doubled over the last 3 years. Farmers are saying that their costs are increasing. We grant them that they are increasing, but the costs have not increased nearly as much as the crop prices have increased. So we have a perfect storm here of improved farm economy, more net revenue for the farmer, divided by a lower capitalization rate, and the calculation done for each soil type shows that the value of that soil can go up anywhere from 100 to 300%. And as long as the numbers are valid in the formula, then we accept that as valid CAUV values. One of the things to remember is your county auditor does not do the calculation. Your county auditor has nothing to do with CAUV values. Instead, they are calculated by the Ohio Department of Taxation, and those values are then sent to your county auditor. We just want everybody to know that we are keeping track of the program. We do review the numbers. The numbers do appear to be valid. And with those valid numbers, then the CAUV values are increasing. It is a program that we are continually checking and rechecking, and I would urge Farm Bureau members to be aware of CAUV and what's happening with it at the State House to make sure that we can continue this program. Even in light of the substantial increases in values, CAUV does provide a very significant reduction in the value of our land for tax purposes. I see, Leah, you have some maps here. Can you give them an example of what perhaps a fair market value would be and then what a CAUV value would be?
Sure. So for market value, looking at, just as an example, Knox County, the market value of an acre of land that's on CAUV, it would be $2,727. In contrast, that same average acre of land in Knox County is actually probably has a value for CAUV of $498.
So you can see there's a huge reduction by being on CAUV. It has increased over the past several years. It does follow the farm economy. When the farm economy peaks and perhaps starts going down, CAUV will trend that reduction in value.
If you're interested in getting any more information about current agricultural use valuation, feel free to contact your local Farm Bureau office and see if we could have a CAUV meeting in your county, or if we need to do some more educational program in your county to help inform landowners about the program.